Hey, Bama Nation, got a morning game ahead of us tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time, kickoff from Camp Randall Stadium in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, for Bama versus those Wisconsin Badgers right here. You're rocking and rolling. Hottest show in these streets, number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you in here. We bring you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this live to you through YouTube. And speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, smash that subscribe button right now. You get every friend, family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football too. Subscribe as well. Also hit the like button. Hit that thumbs up, raise those like levels up. We appreciate that. The daily super chat goal, $100 daily. Super chat go $100 right there. Got a lot to talk about. We'll get into, can the Badgers pull off the upset against Alabama? Is it possible for Wisconsin to pull off this upset? We'll get into that conversation right there. Then we'll slide into Caden Proctor, going to play this weekend at left tackle. He's back. We'll be back on the field. Alabama's offensive line intact once again for the third game of the season. And then we'll look at, what's the next move for Tua Tagovailoa after the scary concussion issue that happened against the Buffalo Bills last night for the Miami Dolphins. But we definitely want to hear from all of you. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be made known on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Definitely want to hear from all of you. But, we jump into topic one of the conversation, that being, you got Bama, Wisconsin tomorrow, Camp Randall Stadium. Fox will have the kickoff 11 a.m. Fox, big noon, has the pregame show. Bama taking the road. Its first road test of the season of the Kalen DeBoer era after its first two games at Bryant-Denny. And this is a fun matchup. You got the SEC versus the Big Ten. The last time Bama played Wisconsin was 2015 to open that season, the Advocare Classic at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Derrick Henry ran wild in that game. Jacob Coker, the starting quarterback. Alabama got the 35-17 win. But Wisconsin gets Alabama on its own turf. This will be a fun, intriguing matchup, Eli. You got two really good head coaches. Kalen DeBoer for Alabama, Luke Fickell for Wisconsin. Two very good coaches. Luke Fickell is building something a bit underappreciated at Wisconsin. He's got a tough, hard-nosed, physical football team. Luke Fickell, tough, hard-nosed football coach. A guy that did a lot of good things in 6 to 7 years at Cincinnati. Even had the Bearcats 1 year in the college football playoff. I believe that was 2021. Had the Bearcats in the college football playoff. Luke Fickell didn't have them going up against Alabama in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl semifinal matchup. The Bearcats suffering a 6-27 loss at the hands of Bryce Young and the Crimson Tide. But Coach Fickell, really good coach. And Coach DeBoer, no stranger to the Big Ten. Remember, he was an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Indiana, 2019. So DeBoer, not a stranger of going up north, not a stranger of going up taking on teams in the Midwest, teams up north, teams in the Big Ten Conference. So this is not foreign territory for him. This is also not foreign territory for other coaches on this Alabama staff. When you look at Nick Sheridan, Alabama's offensive coordinator, of whom played his college football at Michigan in the Big Ten. He was also at Indiana as an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Also, Colin Hitchler was a defensive coordinator, and safeties coach at Wisconsin under Luke Fickell in 2023. So the Crimson Tide does have a few coaches here on the staff. They're no strangers to playing on a Big Ten roster, on a Big Ten coaching staff. They're no strangers to going up to these Big Ten facilities of these Big Ten programs. But you got two very good head coaches, Kalen DeBoer and Luke Fickell, going head-to-head here. Now, for Wisconsin, they've got a blueprint, and if they follow this blueprint, it could go a long way in them possibly, potentially, pulling out an upset against Alabama if it does so. Now, the guys out there in Las Vegas, the point spread is between 14 to 16 points laid on Alabama. When you look at Wisconsin, there is a blueprint for it. Should it be able to pull off the upset here? So here's the blueprint for Wisconsin. Number one, Eli, they got to establish a run game. The Badgers right now, they're kind of in an identity crisis, right? You have kind of the old Wisconsin that still wants to run the football, play power ball, bully ball, if you will. But they now have an offensive coordinator in Phil Longo who kind of wants to open up the passing game. Phil Longo, of whom worked with the likes of Shea Patterson, Jordan Tiamo, Matt Corral at Ole Miss. And then during his time in North Carolina, he had Sam Howell and Drake May at quarterback and several receivers between both programs. But Wisconsin wants to line up, go man-on-man, and run the football, especially after what it saw a week ago with South Florida, having success against Alabama in the run game. Byron Brown at quarterback, 108 yards rushing. That's what Wisconsin wants to do. If they can establish a run game consistently, things could be interesting, because if Wisconsin can establish this run game, it takes us down to part two of the blueprint, and that's Tyler Van Dyke at quarterback. Wisconsin would want to see Tyler Van Dyke have the game of his life in terms of throwing the ball enough, being accurate enough to soften up that Alabama defense to where it can run the football even more. Wisconsin wants to see the Tyler Van Dyke that started his career at Miami. Y'all remember that Tyler Van Dyke from 2021 where De'Aaron King was the starter. I think King got hurt. Van Dyke goes out there the remainder of the year, has 25 touchdown passes to only 6 interceptions, and a lot of people start to look at him as a Heisman contender, as a Heisman Trophy caliber player, and somebody that could be, a high-round draft pick in the NFL. But Van Dyke had issues with injuries after that freshman year, had issues with consistency, had issues with accuracy after that freshman year, and he's trying to get back to that freshman form. So the biggest thing for Wisconsin here is they do not want to have Van Dyke in a situation where he's throwing the ball 20, 25, 30 times, right? Because the more times he throws the football, kind of the worse he becomes. So for Van Dyke, it's, can you get enough out of him to where you can have him hit big throws, but then also soften that Alabama defense up where it can still run the football on the Crimson Tide. So for Tyler Van Dyke, sort of having the game of his life, can he provide that? Number 3 for the Badgers will be, will Wisconsin win the turnover battle? Going back to last week, Alabama gave the ball up 3 times to South Florida, did not create those takeaways. For Wisconsin, can it win the turnover battle? That'll be huge there for the Badgers. And the number 4 for Alabama, in terms of can Wisconsin pull off the upset, is will Alabama's offense come out establishing no rhythm at all? If Alabama comes out flat offensively and that ruckus crowd at Camp Randall Stadium, because that's an atmosphere when that crowd gets ruckus up there, if Alabama comes out flat, 11 a.m. kickoff, you're away from Bryant-Denny, you're up north, Big Ten country. If Bama comes out flat, no rhythm offensively, could be a big chance there for the Badgers. So that's just kind of the blueprint here that I would have for Wisconsin. Number 1, they've got to get off establishing that run game right, smash mouth football. Number 2, you got to have Tyler Van Dyke hit some big plays at quarterback. and I kind of had the game of his life, hitting some big plays to try to soften up this Alabama defense to where you can run the football more. Number 3, Wisconsin, you got to win the turnover battle. And number 4, if you're the Badgers, you got to hope the Crimson Tide comes out absolutely flat offensively. But we will see what happens. We're going to take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting your chest warm here. When we get back, we're going to go to the phone lines. We're going to get your thoughts, your conversations, your energy, your viewpoints. Hey, line us up in the phone lines. We'll be back to hear from you after this.
TDA Plus is the all-new Ultimate Alabama Football Package, perfect for any Alabama football fan. Not only do you get subscriber-only articles where you can stay up to date on everything that's going on with Alabama football, you also get our brand new video hub that features many podcasts and shows, including Steven's Report with Stephen M. Smith. With over 15 years of covering Alabama football, you get trusted information as Stephen goes in person to see the team come back and break down to you what he saw live in person. You also get the Way It Is podcast with Stephen M. Smith, where he tells never-heard-before stories and crazy situations that happened during his 15-year tenure of covering Alabama football. You also get Justin and Dex, where they break down recruits like you've never seen it before, with exclusive behind-the-scenes information and exclusive interviews with recruits. You also get Justin's Recruiting Bites with Justin Smith, where you get the best up-close and personal recruiting information and even talks to you while he's on the road going to recruiting events. Alabama fans, you don't want to miss this huge offer for a jam-packed experience for only $7.95 per month. Visit touchdownalabama.com and become a TDA Plus member today.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we roll in to the action back from the break here. Number 1 ticket for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA on a Friday. Got my man Eli Walker in the production studio. You guys continue smashing the like button, hitting that subscribe button, making this your spot here for all things Tide football. The daily Super Chat Go, $100. Daily Super Chat Go, $100 right there. Phone lines open. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you guys as you are getting your thoughts prepared to call in. Call topic here, Eli, is one of them. Former Alabama head coach Nick Saban was on the Pat McAfee show today, just giving his thoughts about what happened with Tua Tagovailoa last night, Thursday Night Football. Tua sustaining a concussion injury against the Buffalo Bills, his 5th concussion of his career, and we're at the point where we're having to ask ourselves the question, Eli, is it time for Tua to hang it up? Like, we're asking ourselves the question, and only Tua and his family will be able to answer that question. But, Coach Saban providing some advice to him. We know Tua, at 26 years of age, he does have 2 children, and, that plays a factor as well. Tua will always be, known for what he did as a passing prodigy, not just at the Elite 11 with Trent Dilfer, but at Alabama. He comes off the bench, gives you 2nd and 26 as a freshman to deliver the Crimson Tide to a 26-23 overtime victory over Georgia to win the national championship. He changed the way we all thought about how we perceived Alabama football. Yes, he did go through some injuries in Tuscaloosa during his tenure, but he still got drafted number 5 overall, 2020 draft by the Miami Dolphins. He has made a good amount of money in his pro career, but we have to actually sit here and have this conversation about, is it time for him to hang it up? And it's a tough conversation, Eli, because for a lot of these athletes, they feel like they can play forever. For a lot of these athletes, their lives are so revolved around the sport because they've been playing this since they were 5, 6, 7 years old. And their identity is a lot of times caught up in that sport. It's wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in that sport. And when you have to remove that sport from you, for some of these guys, it's, what do I do now, right? Like, I've played this sport for so long, it's become a fabric of who I am. And you remove me from the sport, it's kind of tough to cope. So definitely, my thoughts, prayers with Tua and his family. Hopefully he makes the best decision for himself, right? Because as fun, as entertaining as it is to see Tua, the athlete, Tua, the quarterback, Tua, the football player, I more so do want to see Tua, the dad to his 2 kids, So looking forward to seeing what Tua's ultimate decision becomes. But taking another break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, folks. When we get back, we get into the big news for Alabama this week. Bama's offensive line going to be intact against Wisconsin. We'll talk about why right after this. We're out here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Oh yeah, this. Oh, man. Gotta get this. Gotta get one of these right here. Can't rock that Bama without this shirt right here, fresh polo. You gotta also rock the all pink, like Kanye West right there. Keychains, gotta get you some keychains. University of Alabama keychains. I'm telling you, if you are a die-hard Alabama fan and you're looking for some big-time apparel, this place has got everything. We're talking shirts, shoes, sweatshirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, keychains. If you're just a Tide fan that has an itch to get more apparel, get more swag in your game, you come right here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, right here in Midtown Village. And also you can shop online. The link is in the description to get your gear right here at Alumni Hall.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, Bama Nation, what's happening? It's Friday. TGIF edition of the show. We're back from the break. Hottest show in these streets. We're talking your Bama football news in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Happy to be in here. And guys, show some love to Jason Hayward one time. That $5 donation dropping the love in the bucket there. We appreciate that from Jason. We're back here to topic 2 of the conversation here in Alabama's offensive line will be intact this week after we saw Caden Proctor, sophomore left tackle, get injured, hurting his shoulder, left shoulder in pregame warm-ups prior to the Western Kentucky game, and he did not play last week against South Florida. And then you had Wilkin Formby getting the start against South Florida. You had kind of a patchwork offensive line, which led to several penalties, which led to no rhythm until the fourth quarter when Elijah Pritchett came in the game. This time around, should be a lot better. Caden Proctor is set to go Saturday against Wisconsin. Bama's going to get a huge boost on the offensive line. According to reports, Proctor will play. Caden Proctor will play this weekend at Camp Randall Stadium at that left tackle position. This is huge, right? Because the matchup against South Florida showed how much Bama really needed Proctor. And King and the board talked about it on Wednesday during the SEC coaches teleconference that Proctor could have gone last week, had a very good week of practice down the stretch of last week. The coaching staff decided to be precautionary, hold him out, turn the corner last week, but had a very good week of practice this week, good to go, ready to be out there on the field. And even though Tyler Booker took reps at left tackle in practice throughout the offseason, there's a difference between having reps at left tackle in practice and then having reps at left tackle playing in actual games. Caden Proctor has actual game experience at left tackle, 13 games of that, going back to last season. So left tackle is his wheelhouse. Left tackle is his spot, if you will. So to have Caden Proctor back at his home base at that position, Alabama's offensive line should be more than able to not just establish the run against Wisconsin, but also keep Jalen Milroe upright as well as he goes through his reads, his progressions there in the passing game. But you look at Eli, both offensive tackles, when you discuss Proctor and Elijah Pritchett, both of these two being out there. Pritchett ended the South Florida game of the fourth quarter, Bama putting up 28 points. Pritchett, during that week of practice, had a little bit of an ankle issue, but was able to go out there and play, did not re-aggravate the ankle, got through the game healthy. He's fine, he's good, he's okay. To have him at right tackle, Proctor at left tackle, I think that's the lineup you go with. You go with Proctor, Booker, Brailsford, Roberts, Pritchett. That'd be my five from left to right. And like I mentioned on Wednesday's show, you let that five build chemistry. You let that five build continuity. You let that five build growth together. I'm not saying Formby's no good. Wilkin Formby has talent. Wilkin's young, right? He's got to continue to grow. You work him in some reps, second team. You work him in some reps, but you don't start him right now. Don't take his confidence away from him, but he's not ready to be a starter right now. He's not. So the five guys you would have to go with, in my opinion, Proctor, Booker, Brailsford, Roberts, Pritchett. And you roll with those five. And you get the thing gelling with that five. That five could be a dynamic group of five up front on the offensive line. But Alabama will not have a patchwork group this week. Proctor being back, Pritchett playing as well. Looking forward to seeing this group up front under the leadership of offensive line coach Chris Kapovich against Wisconsin. We're going to take another break here, folks, from the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Hey, line us up. We definitely want to hear from you right after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, Bama Nation, here we go. Back into the action from the break here Friday. TGIF edition of the show. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you in here. Continue hitting the like button, smashing that subscribe button, making this your spot, your network, your channel here for all things Bama football. Appreciate my man Eli Walker in the production studio. But call segment brought to you as always by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in to let your voice be made known on the show, 205-448-1358, the number right there. As you're getting your thoughts prepared to call in. This call topic, Eli, is really cool. So we all know how special Devontae Smith was. Smitty, Slim Reaper, whatever you want to call him, won the Heisman Trophy in 2020, Alabama's all-time career leader for receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Well, Ryan Hollywood Williams says he's coming after Smitty. He loves Smitty, appreciates everything Smitty did, but he's coming after Smitty. Will Ryan Williams be as good as Devontae Smith was? Will Hollywood Williams be as good as Devontae Smith? Bama Nation, drop your thoughts in the chat line, in the comment section of the chat line. Will Hollywood Williams, who by the way has 3 touchdown catches this season so far, will Hollywood Williams be as good as Devontae Smith was? I will say this, Hollywood has tied the touchdown reception output from Devontae Smith's freshman year. Remember, Eli, Smitty's freshman year, 2017, Smitty had 3 touchdowns. He had 1 against Vanderbilt, 2017. He had 1 against Mississippi State, 2017. Of course, we all know the famous 2nd and 26, 41-yard touchdown reception from Tua Tagovailoa in the national championship game against Georgia. That was 3. So, if nothing else, Ryan Williams has tied the touchdown reception output through 2 games that Smitty had all of his freshman year, 2017. But will he be as good as Devontae Smith was? That remains to be seen. Gotta show some love to my man, Big Bill! Bill from New York with that fight. That was not Bill. That was Henry Hubbard. My apologies. I thought that was Bill for a minute. Henry Hubbard in here. Henry with that $5 donation, dropping that love in there. Appreciate that from Henry Hubbard. Henry, new to the show. Appreciate Henry Hubbard showing that love to us right here on the network. We'll take a break here, Eli. I mean, how do you feel about this, man? Do you think Ryan Williams is as good as Smitty? Does he become as good as Devontae Smith? I mean, do you see it? So you got he's on pace. So, Eli, you think he's on pace? Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll see. We shall see. We take our final break right here, folks, in the show. We get back. We wrap things up with what's going to be the next move in the career of Tua Tagovailoa, especially after what happened on Thursday. I give my thoughts on it, and I'll wrap this thing up after this.
I'm Malachi Moore. You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama, and you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide Roll.
All right, folks, here we go. Wrapping things up here on the number one ticket for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Appreciate all of you checking out tonight's show. Getting you prepared for tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff. Crimson Tide, Wisconsin Badgers from Camp Randall Stadium, Madison, Wisconsin. SEC versus Big Ten. Kalen DeBoer versus Luke Fickell. Could be a fun atmosphere. Could be a very entertaining matchup. But we get into this small discussion. Everybody's talking about it right now. The next move for Tua Tagovailoa. The next move for the native Hawaiian, the former Alabama quarterback, the Miami Dolphins signal caller. Before I got his last name pronounced correctly, I used to call him Double T in the morning. So the next move for Tua Tagovailoa, this is tough, man. This is tough. Like, a lot of people are saying it's time for him to hang it up. A lot of people are saying needs to retire. A lot of people are saying, get out while you can. You're 26, made you some money. You got 2 young children. You don't want to go through any more head trauma that you've already endured as of right now. And I understand that. And then you got to think through Tua's mind, it's, I can shake back, I can shake through it, I can overcome this, I can get back out there, because the athlete, in their mind, they're taught to, even though injuries happen, you're taught as an athlete, you can shake back. You can get yourself back on the field, right? You can push yourself to get back on the field and still continue to do what you enjoy, what you're passionate about, what you feel like, the good Lord put you on this earth to do in an athlete. So Tua's caught in between 2 choices here. I don't know which one he takes. Eli, you don't know which one he takes. Nobody knows what decision Tua's going to make here. All I can hope and pray is that he makes the best one for himself. That's all I can hope and pray. Is that he makes the best possible decision for himself. Because at the end of the day, it's his life. It's his life. And not only is it his life, the people that mean the most near and dear to him, they want him to have the full use of his life. So that's my thing. At this point, I'm putting the football piece to the side. At this point, you're Tua, because he's already been paid, Eli, the $42 million of a signing bonus. He's already got that from the Dolphins. Now, I know the conversation has been if he voluntarily retires, he has to give back, I think, $124 million. But if he chooses to do the medical retirement, I think he gets to keep that $124 million. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know that it's been reported that he's already got the $42 million signing bonus. So you take that, you invest that well. Tua can definitely be an analyst. He can be a commentator if he chose to retire. Tua could become a coach at some point if he decided to take that route. I mean, he's a great guy. He's a great dude. Unbelievable young man. Humble dude. Stand-up guy. Like, if you ask anybody in the NFL, Tua's personality, the guy's beloved, Eli. The dude is beloved. So I can see him doing anything post-football that would make him marketable, right? It's just, what will be his decision? Will he choose to try to fight it off, overcome, get back out there on the football field? Or will he choose to say, you know what? Made enough money. I want to be around my 2 kids. I want to have healthy brain function, because we've seen so many people, Eli, go through CTE, right? Whether it was Junior Seau, God rest his soul. It's, Antonio Brown has had those issues. Still, having them more than likely. And you don't want that with Tua. You really don't. You don't want that with Tua. So he's got a decision he's got to make. I just hope and pray that it's the best one for him. But as always, Tide Nation, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage, entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store, your Rockin' Team Apple Google Play Store. You have the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll try to be back on Monday. Continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, and to be sure to subscribe to TouchdownAlabama.com. You get that subscription to TouchdownAlabama.com. Do that today and get that subscription. Have all of your Bama football information in the palm of your hands there. You also subscribe to TDA Plus, the Video Hub, to have that as well. Guys, show some love to all of you, the Bama fans, for the donations tonight, for the comment in the comment section tonight. Doing your thing to make this your show, your platform, your network, your channel for all things Bama football. Gotta show some love to my man Eli Walker as well in the production studio. Till next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing too. Not be bored. There you get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the game tomorrow. I know, early kickoff. Gotta get up early, though. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Till next time, folks, and your man Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.